Hi, everybody. Hello, welcome to today's webinar. We're going to be discussing CPD. My name is Victoria. I'm from Smart Dental Compliance. The reason we're doing a webinar on CPD is we get quite a lot of our clients and people that aren't our clients asking us kind of how many hours they need to do, who needs to do what CPD, what's mandatory, what's recommended. So we're here today just to kind of run through things, give you a bit of a refresher and go through what you need to do and when you should be doing it. So today, the aims of the webinar are to provide an overview on the current CPD requirements and highlight the importance of continuing your professional development and maintaining competency and staying up to date with everything in dentistry. So the objectives for today, we're going to explain the current CPD requirements, address any common challenges or barriers that you might have. I know sometimes it's difficult to get your team on board or find time or encourage them. So we'll kind of give you some tips on how to do that as well today. So as everybody knows, CPD is something that everybody needs to do. So all dental professionals. So whether you're a dental nurse, a dentist, you all should be doing your CPD. Sometimes it gets a little bit confusing regarding how many hours each person needs to do. So today we'll just kind of go through that, make sure everybody knows how many hours, which CPD they need to do, and take it from there. So dentists. So dentists are required to complete a minimum of 100 hours of CPD over a 5-year cycle. And that's a minimum of 10 hours per year. Um, 75 hours of these should be verifiable. And with our system, we've made that super easy for you. So we've got around 50 hours of CPD on the platform at the minute. That's for dentists, dental nurses, the whole team can get on board. On our system, we make it super easy for you as well. So we show you what trainings teams should do, what CPD they should do, which ones are important for their role in the practice as well. And it just gives you a bit of an insight as to what you should be doing. So for dental nurses or therapists, hygienists, they should be doing 50 hours of CPD. That's with a minimum of 10 hours per year, and at least 30 hours of these should be verifiable. So how often do we really need to do CPD? Quite often when I'm in practices, the manager will say to me, the hygienist isn't doing their CPD. They've said they've already done 10 hours this month. They'll tell us that like they don't need to do it. They've done enough for their cycle, and it's really hard to kind of manage your team and get them to do the CPD that you want them to do. Especially on the platform, it might say they've only done a certain amount of hours. They might be telling you they've done other hours, kind of maybe different courses, or they've been on workshops. So what we've done here is we've just broken it down and we've made it really nice and easy for you to follow. So when you do get those awkward conversations with your staff and they're saying, no, I've done my CPD, I don't need to do it, I only have to do it every year, I only have to do it every 5 years, you can always kind of come back to this chart and it will just give you a bit of an idea as to what each role should be doing and how often they should be doing and whether it's mandatory or not. So here we've got on the breakdown, we've got for dentist, what is mandatory. So here, if your dentist say to you, I don't need to do that, well, you can bring up this and you can tell them that they do. With hygienists as well, because I don't know why, but it always seems to be the hygienist that managers seem to have a bit of an issue to get to do the CPD. I know more often than not, the hygienists might work at different multiple locations. They've done their CPD for that practice. They feel they don't need to do the CPD for your practice. So you can always get this chart out, just tell them, listen, this is mandatory. You should be doing it every year. I understand that you have a cycle and you only need to do 10 hours or you need to do 50 hours and 30 hours of them are verifiable, but this is the kind of this is what your practice is working towards, and this is what you want them to do, what is mandatory and what is recommended. So if you do want this chart, just drop us a message and we'll be happy to share that with you as well. And then kind of supporting your staff. So we've already spoken about kind of the hurdles or when your staff might not kind of be on board with doing their CPD. So ways that you can support your staff is you can maybe make them aware of the requirements. So the chart that we've just shown you, that would be very helpful for that. You can discuss in reviews and learning activities. So you should be doing appraisals with your staff. So if you're doing your appraisals, maybe you can touch base on what CPD they're doing, what areas they feel that they need some more training in. If you're having issues, perhaps you had a complaint, maybe you can do a CPD on complaint handling for your receptionist. If maybe one of your nurses infection control isn't quite up to scratch, you can always review that in a appraisal or in a meeting, and you can kind of put them to the CPD platform on our system, and you can just get them to kind of a bit of a refresher and show them how to they can kind of do their infection control. So that's the same for all CPD and any kind of learning outcomes or objectives. You can help your staff find the time and opportunities for learning. So for some practices, which works really, really well, is they'll actually give their dentists some training days. So they'll be allowed, say, 4 days that they can take off in a year that they can go and do training. So if there's a big conference that they want to go to, or maybe there's a workshop that they're interested in, you can maybe set aside some days where those days are used for learning. So that works really well. With your staff as well, you can do things like lunch and learns. You can get your team all together, nice lunch. They can all get CPD verifiable certificates. You could maybe think about what other courses are out there. So if it's maybe like a BLS course that you're all going to, maybe a 1 day workshop where you're doing all of your CPD in 1 day. It makes it a bit fun as well. It's kind of team bonding, and it's a really good opportunity for your whole team to get on board. You can just help maintain records. So sometimes people forget what CPD they've done. They've been on courses, they've lost the certificates, they don't know, they're just not managing their CPD very well. And when it comes to kind of telling the GDC how many hours they've done, what was verifiable, what wasn't, they don't have all of that information together. As much as they may have done all of the training, as much as they may have gone to these courses, they might not have the certificates, they might not manage themselves very well. So you can help your team by managing them, managing their hours for them. With our system, again, we've got a really good reporting feature. So that means that you can show them how many hours they've done. You can run a report to see who has and hasn't done their CPD. It makes your life easier. It makes their life easier. And it just shows that you actually care about your team as well. So there are just some ways that you can support your staff and help them to do their CPD. Alongside your CPD, you should be thinking about personal development plans. This is something that you should be doing with your team, and everybody should just be reflecting on what they need to learn and what they should do to improve themselves. Because the whole aim of CPD is just to make sure that everybody is growing. So they are just having a quick look. We just got some messages. Perfect. Right. So you just want to show that you're growing your team as well, and making sure that they fully understand all of the learning outcomes and activities. So in your personal development plan, some things that you should consider are, why do I need to learn or maintain for this cycle? So why do you need to learn? What are you gaining from learning? And how does this relate to my field of practice? So if you're a dentist, how does this relate to you, to being a dentist? If you're maybe a nurse, how does this relate to me? So I know as well, we're talking about dentistry today, but we do have clients that maybe are from care homes, domiciliary, we've got aesthetic clinics, skin clinics. So thinking about how the CPD that you're doing kind of relates to your field of practice. And if you do need more help, and I know this is more dental related, you can reach out to us and we can go through the CPD that you need for your sector. Other things to consider are what benefit will this have to my work? So by doing this course, what will it do for my work? So it might be it will make your infection control better, that therefore your patients will be safer. It could be that doing even a CPD on interacting with disabled and autistic patients, it means your communication's better. You can communicate better with patients. It gives you more confidence as well when you're at work. So these are things that you should consider as well. How will I meet this learning need? So how are you going to do it? So is it that you're going to book a workshop? Are you going to do a CPD online? How are you going to do it? And when will I complete this activity by? So give yourself some deadlines, think about milestones. Like obviously you've got 5 years to do CPD. So break down your CPD. What do you need to do each year? Don't leave everything right to the end also. So you don't want to get to year 5 and now you're going through loads of courses, you're having to book everything. You've got 5 years to do your CPD. Stagger it, keep on top of things, and then you'll sail through it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the platform, look at our CPD platform and show you how you can use it more effectively. Maybe there's some areas that you're not aware of that are on there, and just how you can maintain your CPD and how you can do it. So if we have a look at our system. So here we go. So we've got the dashboard here. Um, as you can see, we've got CPD courses are here. You can also find them on the left-hand side. So if you're ever looking for CPD, you can find it on the dashboard here, CPD courses, or on the main page. And here you can see all the CPD that we have. And again, we make things super easy for you at Smart Dental Compliance. So we've got here what courses should dentists be doing, what courses should nurses be doing, receptionists, and practice managers. You can also delegate your CPD to your staff. So again, like I mentioned earlier, if there's a nurse who maybe needs a bit of a refresher course on infection control, you can delegate that task to her so she knows she needs to do it. You can monitor it as well. So you can do all your CPD via the platform. We update them on a regular basis as well. So we add CPD on here quite often. But if you do have any ideas of CPD that you would like to see on the platform, we love you. We love your feedback, and we're always looking for ways to improve ourselves. So if there's CPD that maybe isn't on here and you do want it, you can always reach out to us, and we always take your ideas into consideration, and we're always kind of just improving our system as well. So please do reach out to us if you do have any kind of feedback for us or ideas. We love to hear it. So here I'm on the platform. I'm signed in as Catalin, so I'm on my platform, and I am required to do 50 hours of CPD. The system showing me that I've only done 1 hour of CPD and I have 49 hours left to complete. So what I will do is I will go to the CPD and I will check out my profile. So let's take a look. So on my profile, it tells me, there we go. So it shows me all the CPD that I've done. Now, if you have just joined Smart Dental Compliance, or maybe you're partway through your cycle and you've done CPD maybe online with different providers, or you've done your BLS training with somebody else, you can continue your current cycle. So that means you can input the hours that you've done for each CPD course and your cycle. So as I just showed you before, you had the 50 hours, it showed you only did 1 hour. You can actually put the hours that you've done, and that 50 hours will then maybe change 30 hours, and then it will show you what you've got left to do. So you can upload your CPD from other providers, and you can put it onto the system, and then you have a clear indication as to what CPD is left, how many hours that you need to do as well. On the CPD platform again, so if we go here, what we can see is we can see my activity log. So you can see all of the CPD that you've done on the system. So Catalin's not been doing too well. He's only done one course so far. If we jump over to, let's take a look. So if we go to a different account, we'll see that they've done more CPD. So here we go. So we've got mental capacity cross infection. So it tells you how many hours you've done for each of your CPD. And it just gives you a nice kind of something to work towards as well. So it's a very good feature, and lots of our clients really love that feature too. If we just take a look again on the CPD platform, so what you can see is you've got my certificates. So it might be maybe you're having a CQC inspection and you just want to get all of your certificates together. Maybe just for your own reference, you want all of your certificates. What you can do is you can go on to CPD that you've done, and you can actually download certificates, and you can get those as well. So anything you do on the system always gets saved, and you can always go back to it, and you can find any of your CPD as well. Going back to CPD side of things, so I mentioned earlier that we can assign CPD. So what I've got here is I've got all my team members, and I can just click on who I want to assign CPD course, select the course, and I can send that to them. That way, they'll be prompted to do it as well. So if you do need to give your team a bit of a push, that's what this system does. Now, I mentioned everything you're putting onto the system. It's going to give you the opportunity to run reports. So the more you put into the system, the more you can get out of the system and make your life a lot easier as well. So if we take a look at the reporting feature here, if I go to my HR management and I go to training reports, what I'll be able to see is all of my staff, when they've done their training, whose training is due, and it just gives you a nice breakdown. So rather than having to go through each of your staff's folders, having a look at who's done their CPD, especially if you're having a CQC inspection and they want to make sure all your staff have up-to-date CPD, it can be a bit long-winded going into each folder one at a time, checking out who's done their CPD. So running this simple report here, it just gives you a really good overview of everybody's CPD. And then again, you can go in, you can delegate, prompt your staff to do the CPD and get everybody up to date. So again, I would just urge you to put as much information as you can into your Smart Dental platform. The more you put in there, the more you can run a report on pretty much anything. So let's take a look at the HR management. So if you're a user of ours, as you know, we've got the HR, we've got the CPD, we've got the compliance. So if I have a look on the HR side of things, I've got all of my staff's folders here. And if I take a look at Anila's folder, for an example, the system has broken down what should be in each staff's folder. So we've got training, recruitment, signed policies. We've even got additional documents, MHR alerts, appraisals, everything that you should have in your folders. It's here and it's been broken down, and it's really nice and easy to manage. So if we have a look at the training side of things, the system here, it's telling me what training Anila should be doing. And I can see Anila's not done any because it's on 0% here. So as Anila starts doing her CPD on the platform, it will automatically upload onto the system. The 0% will start working its way up, and hopefully she gets up to 100%, which would be amazing. And then it will tell me on the system when she last did it. And then again, because it's on the system, I can run a report. I can see who's done their CPD and who hasn't. So from here as well, I can see Anila's not done pretty much any of her CPD. So I can send her a reminder, so she'll get a notification that she needs to do the CPD. It might be Anila's a new joiner and she's actually done all of this CPD elsewhere. So what she can do, simply by using the app that we have on the system, she can just take a picture of her certificates and she can upload. So if you go to the uploads, you can upload any of your certificates from any other provider, whether you've done like a lunch and learn or whether you was at a conference and it's CPD verified, you can upload all of these as well as any certificates. If you book things like BLS with us or your infection control training through us, we actually upload the certificates for you. So you don't even have to worry about uploading any certificates. So we do that for you, and they'll all be uploaded. Again, you can set your expiry dates. You can put the date that you completed your cross infection, the date you expired, and then just upload your certificate if you have it from a different kind of a different provider, and then that will all go towards your CPD, and the 0% will start working its way up to 100%. Again, we've got here what's recommended and what's mandatory. So that's really good as well, just to see who's done all of their mandatory CPD. Recommended is great. Obviously, the more CPD you do, the better, and it just keeps you up to date with any changes that are going on. So try and do as much CPD as you can, but to make your life easier, if you do focus on the mandatory CPD, then at least you've got a good starting point. And if you do have a CQC inspection, at least you know you've got all the mandatory CPD there, because the CQC will want to see that all your staff are doing CPD, especially when it comes to like BLS, safeguarding. These are really, really important. And if you haven't done any of these training courses recently, then I would urge you to get booked in. We do courses ourselves. We've got our own in-house trainers. If you're a member of ours as well, don't forget you do get 10% off. So we do see BLS, infection control, safeguarding. We come to the practice and we do that for all of your team. So if you are behind on any of your CPD, do reach out to us and let us know, and we can obviously get that booked in for you. So that's a bit about the CPD platform itself and how it works. Again, so just make sure with reports as well that you are running these on a kind of frequent basis, just so you can keep tabs on what's happening. There's nothing worse than you getting that dreaded call by the inspector and you realize that nobody's done anything. You're going to have enough stress on your hands as it is. You don't want to be wasting time completing loads of CPD courses and getting the whole team on board. There'll be lots of other things that you'll have to consider at that time. So just run frequent reports, make sure everybody's up to date, all your staff know what they're doing, how often they should be doing it, and that is how the reporting system works. So if I just go over to my slideshow, so you can see we do a lot of courses here. So we do infection control, we do BLS, we do safeguarding, complaints. So if you are a bit behind on any CPD, or maybe it's the whole team kind of needs a refresher on their BLS or anything, just do reach out to us. You get your discount. We do bundles as well, so you can book all your CPD. You don't need to be one of our clients to use any of our kind of other services. So we do our risk assessments, we do our training, so you can book them anytime. We are going to be relaunching our lunch and learn. So if you do want verifiable CPD, this is only for people that aren't our clients. So if you're watching this, maybe you're watching it pre-recorded on YouTube and you're thinking, oh, lunch and learn sounds really great, do reach out, because we are going to start them again as well. So there's lots of opportunity to get up to date with your CPD, and just don't leave it to last minute until the CQC come, and then you need to start doing it. So if anybody has any questions, do pop them in the chat. If you have any ideas for any CPD that we can maybe start doing soon, then please reach out to us, because we love hearing back from you and we love your feedback, because we've made the system for you. We want you to use it. So the more feedback you give us, the better, and we can always improve things. So please do reach out to us. So that's been a little bit about CPD. I know it's been a short and sweet one, but I hope it's helped. And if you do need a copy of this sheet here, which I know practices are finding really, really helpful, because it's just breaking down the recommended, mandatory for all types of roles, then do reach out to us and we shall send that over to you. So I hope you've enjoyed today's webinar. I know it's been a short one, but reach out to us if you do need us at any time. Thank you. Take care.